drop in a quick hi using the chat option. Or you could also participate in the poll I've just published. Good evening, folks. If you're just here, we'll be beginning in the next 10 minutes. I'm just setting up the live room. If you're here, drop in a hi on the chat room as well as participate in the polls I've just published. We will be beginning in the next 10 minutes. Good evening, folks. If you're just here, we will be going live in 10 minutes. Uh, Drop in a quick hi on the chat window or participate in the polls. We will go live in the next 10 minutes. All right, good evening and or good morning. Uh, my name is Andrew and I'm actually joining live from Ireland. If you're just here, like I said, you use the chat option on the left, as well as just participate in the polls. Drop in a quick hi, tell us where you're from. That'll be nice. The scheduled time for this event is the next 10 minutes, so just waiting for more people to drop in. Hi, folks. If you're here, looks like you're a bit early, but that's fine. If you're here already, please drop me a hi on the chat window just to make it conversational or participate in the polls I just published. It'll be nice. Drop in a quick hi. Tell us where you're from. Hi, Tariq. How are you? You're based in Bhutan. You're a pastry chef. Awesome. Are you working for yourself or are you working for someone else? Like, do you have your own business or nice to meet you here? Look forward to interact from you. If you can leave more details on your business, I can make it as customized as possible as well. We will begin in the next 5 minutes. The schedule time is actually, what time is it, Tariq, in Bhutan right now? You work at the Taj. Awesome. All right. You're a pastry chef there. Nice to meet you. All right. Who else is here? It's 3 p.m. All right. So yeah, I'm based in Ireland. Here it's 9:54 in the morning. Nice of you to join us. Can I ask you, Tariq, how did you find about the event? I mean, just to know, how did you come across this event? Hi, Ian. I think I saw an ad on Instagram for this. Thank you. All right. Where are you from, Ian? Is that how I pronounce? Whereabouts in Ireland are you? I'm based in Dundalk myself. Are you around here? And what do you do? What kind of food business are you part of, or are you planning to start? What stage are you in? All right, we're 5 minutes away from the scheduled time. We're just waiting for more folks to join in. I'm not sure, Tariq. I can see all the participants here. Maybe you're not able to see all the participants. I'm not exactly sure how it works. All right, we are 4 minutes more away from the session to start. But while all of you are here, like I said, please drop me a message on the chat box here, as well as participate in the polls. I have done some food workshops. I'm a food development stage, so recipe testing. All right. So with the local enterprise, were you in one of those food start programs by the local enterprise, or were you in those food academy by Super Value? I've been part of one of these programs myself as well. They're pretty nice. So I like. Are you done with it? So you're in recipe testing, right? What category are you in? Like, what is your product like? Or you have another colleague from Taj? That's nice. It's a lot of alumni here from Taj. That's good to know. Guys, if you just joined in, please drop in a message or using the chat window. We're just 2 minutes away from the scheduled time. We can begin our session. My name is Andrew Mendes. I'm going to be your host today. Many thanks for joining me on this session. Like I said, please use the chat window to drop in a hi, give me a quick intro about yourself, and also do participate in the poll that's published just to know how, what kind of profile you're from. We're going to begin in the next 2 minutes. Yes, we have sort of 14 or 15 participants this year. If you just joined in, do drop in a hi. We're going to begin in the next 2 minutes, guys. All right, I guess We can anyway start. So for folks who have just joined in, like I said, please drop in a hi, tell us where you're from, what do you do on the chat window, also participate in the polls. My name is Andrew Mendez. I'm going to be a host, and in today's webinar, in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things I've learned the hard way from my own food business failure. Though my product was a product-based startup, Sherman, we're just starting up, so glad you're here. Please tell us where you're from, what do you do? Hi, Elvin. I'm an engineer by profession. I would like to get into ice cream and pastry business. Hi, Elvin. Where you from? I'm also an engineer myself by profession. I mean, by studies at least. But then I got into advertising and food business, so that's that. All right, whereabouts in Kerala? I'm also from Kerala. I'm from Cochin myself. I'm now based in Ireland. Any folks here from Ireland who's on the webinar today? All right, so good evening for folks watching from India. Good morning for folks watching from Ireland or UK. If you just joined in, drop us a hi. Tell us where you're from on the chat window. Also participate in the polls. Tell us a bit about yourself to make this discussion as customized as possible. My name is Andrew. I'm going to be a host for the next 40 minutes, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of lessons I learned the hard way from my own food business failure. So if you just come here, like I said, do participate in the polls, drop it a hi on the chat, tell us where you're from and what you do. I'm going to walk you through first a bit about myself and why I'm talking about things I learned from my food business. So I launched a snack brand in India and Ireland. My name is Andrew Mendes, and this was my brand. It was called Pling Foods. We we've launched in we launched snack products in uh, India and Ireland. In India, we were pretty successful. We had around 5 cities, 20,000 outlets. Ireland, we just was part of a couple of the Food Start programs here, but couldn't really get it out to the markets. Hi, hello, hello, Jer. Is that how I pronounce your name? You're a student from Ireland. Where about in Ireland are you, Jer? I'm based in Dundalk. Glad you joined us today. So, like I said, this was my food startup that I launched a couple of years back. We were in the snacking space. This is my brand, Pling. So it's not functional anymore. We had a good run, but then I finally had to shut it down. So the whole agenda of today's webinar is to share with you a couple of things I've learned the hard way, so that you don't have to go through it yourself. So that's that. Um, if you just joined me here, like I said, please participate in the polls. Drop in a hi on the chat. Tell us where you're from, what you do. You're from Tipperary. That's nice. Nice to have you here, Jer. Looking forward. All right. So as we move on, that's me. So that's the reason I'm talking about failures from my food business, because I tried to launch a food business a couple of years back. But before this, as in before I actually started a food business, I was in the advertising profession. I used to, um, one sec, sorry, there's something wrong with slides. All right, so yeah, I used to run an advertising agency, and then I sold it off and then decided to launch this food brand. So we sort of had a good run. And what I'm going to discuss in the next 30 or 40 minutes is everything I learned the hard way from my own food business. So if you all are here and we are ready to go, just a quick check. Is the audio all right? Are you able to see my slides? If you're watching from mobile, that might be a bit tricky, but just to do a quick check, are you all, uh, is the audio quality fine? Are you able to see my slides? That's the only question I have for you. All right. Hi, Komal. How are you? Hello from Mumbai. Whereabouts in Mumbai are you? It's a tough time, I guess, for Mumbaikers, but hold tight. We're going to be all right. All right. Thanks, Tariq. Thanks, Jer, for the feedback there. Uh, all right, Elvin, you're from Cotting. You did your master's in UK. Good, good. Are you back in India right now, or are you still in UK? All right, Harshit, hi, how are you? Thanks for being here. So the audio is fine, the slides are super, so let's get on with it, right? So for folks who just joined, I'm talking about lessons I learned from my food business failure. So this was my brand. We were in the snacking space, and we launched in Ireland and India. We had a good run for 2 years, and I had to shut it down. So everything I'm going to discuss is my lessons I learned around that. All right. So first part, or the first lesson that I learned from my food business failure, and that's this. That is, branding and packaging is the foundation that can make or break your business. Now, this is my what you see on the picture there. That's my brand, and in this business, first impression means a lot, right? I mean, if you do the presentation part properly, 50 percentage of your marketing effort is there, done and dusted. It's done, right? And it's not just about relevancy in terms of being a retail product and about getting the impulsive purchases, as in, get people a digital packaging so that they can buy it. But it goes beyond that. The importance of branding and packaging goes way beyond that. Now, for my team, for my sales team, whenever we were out in the market trying to get the products on retail shelf, all the distributors, we didn't have to take a lot of effort because the packaging did its job, right? The packaging made the brand look international in terms of quality and how it looks, so that whoever we spoke to, they were pretty happy to work with us. So having a good brand and packaging is quite essential when it comes to your food business. And I'm not talking just about a product, even the service. If you're running a restaurant or a food truck, or if you're running a pastry business, whatever kind of business you're running, packaging is very, very, very important. Just coming to that part of it, in fact, I hope all of you participate in the polls that's just published about your profile. I'm just going to publish another one more poll just to understand what stage you are in terms of your food business. Don't worry if you don't have a food business as well. Yeah, if you are just getting in the mode of getting it to shape, that's fine as well. So I published another poll. Do participate on that as well. So Aim, you did. I just did a workshop during Enterprise Week. One time I think I was going to open for the workshop. All right, in just to did you say when you attended the workshop, are you doing the workshops or are you attending the workshops? I'm just getting a bit confused. You have a food startup and you're attending these workshops, is what I understand. All right, and what are you looking to anyway learn from these workshops? Just to know. All right, so I was talking about branding and packaging. I have another poll published so that I know what stage of business are you in. Yes, said branding is very, very, very costly. I did spend a lot of money and time to get it right. But see, like I said, it's a very essential part of the business because this is your first impression. This is what people see first. And when I say people, I don't just mean customers who are going to buy your product. I'm going to mean retailers, distributors, investors who look at this and decide in one stroke whether you're going to be successful or not. So how you look, how you sound, is very important, and all that starts from packaging and branding. And from my personal experience, I can tell you this: that if you did this job right, 50% of your marketing effort can be discounted then and there. And this is something I know and I've seen firsthand myself. So brand and packaging, very, very, very important. All right, sir, you're talking about ideation, not going to food business, regulation, and so on. Yes, it is, but I agree to that. But you need to understand that in this situation today, if you look at lockdown as a situation, it's actually an opportunity for food business. I see a lot of food businesses thriving during this time. So come recession, come lockdown, come whatever, food business is something that's going to stay around. And if you are interested in this as a segment, yes, this is definitely an interesting business for anyone to take up. But yeah, it's all about personal choices, I guess, right? All right, so brand is very important. Anyone looked at branding as a challenge area when it comes to it? The workshop was cancelled, and I'm sorry to hear about that. But I think most of the local enterprise workshops are now online as well. Syed, I'm not sure about your question. You just said packaging and question mark. What does that mean? What if I don't really pack our food? Yes, so Harshad, I didn't mean just this point just for packaged food items. Even if you're running a restaurant or a cafe, it's still important. Your menu, how your brand looks, what is the interior, what does it say, your website, your Facebook page, everything is part of your branding. So this is not just about packaging alone; it's also about your logo, your colors, how you put your services or products out there. So this is not just relevant for products, it's equally relevant for services as well. So moving on, next point. Now, see, most of the things I'm speaking here is basis my experience from a packaged food perspective, but it's also relevant to services as well. So if you're a restaurant owner or a cafe owner or a pastry shop owner, this whatever we're discussing today is equally relevant to you. Syed, I'm not sure how much you invested in packaging, but yes, at the end of the day, the packaging needs to do its job. It needs to look good. It needs to attract people. So you need to invest as much as it's required. Plus, a typical designer cannot do packaging because packaging is a different ballgame. So only work with folks who have who have experience working in packaging before when it comes to designers. All right, moving on. The next thing that I've learned the hard way from running a food business myself is to always hire a team, especially if you don't have a prior experience in food business. Now, my experience before running this business was I was in the advertising business, so I used to run an advertising company. I used to manage a team of 30 who were primarily creative, working in an office and that kind of setup. And when I jumped into the food business, I was dealing with sales team who were primarily in the field. I don't see them every day, mostly conversations on phone, and most importantly, I didn't have any experience with food business or the nuances of it. So one of the key things here is that the food business folks or the HR around it is very, very costly. Bhavna, you just said help. Can you expand it? What help are you looking for? So yeah, coming back to hiring an A team. Now, unless you have an experience, in food business, then it's fine what kind of team you work with. But if you don't have any experience in that, hire a team. Otherwise, you're gonna get screwed royally. And I'm not saying I got screwed royally, but what I meant is because I was not from food business, because I didn't understand the nuances of it. And one of the mistakes I did was I probably hired or worked with a B team or CT, or I don't know how to put it. I'm not saying they were bad people, they were good professionals. I wasn't good enough to manage them, but they were not as experienced and or they were in the right set of team that was required for my product. So when I mean an A team, I mean the best team. And in food business, the best teams are highly paid. So as far as I'm concerned, as an entrepreneur, I think the one thing that you'll do is you go for the cheapest option, and that's what I did as well. I went for an option which I could afford, and what happened is yes, they did a decent enough job, but I was not able to see the red flags until it was too late. And the team that was working with me, they, as much as good they weren't proactive enough for a startup business like mine. If they were running for a bigger corporate, they could have performed, they could have done wonders. But for me, I needed a different set of a team, and that couldn't work out. All right, Bhavna, I hear you can't hear my audio. Anyone else facing the situation with the audio? Are you from mobile? Could you try logging in from your desktop if that's a problem? All right, Said, you're in a home delivery business. Um, Even in a home delivery business, the trust, the first factor that the people see is your brand, is the packaging, is your website, is your Facebook page, all these things before they actually get the food delivered, even the box they get it delivered. So all these touch points are important, Syed, when it comes to packaging. All right, Pallav, what are the things need to keep in mind to make a proper packaging? What if I don't really pack a food like that? So, Pallav, in mind to make a proper packaging, right? So, well, that needs a larger discussion, but I'll share some examples of that as well. All right, so second thing that I had to learn myself was about hiring the right team. So, ensure that even if you only hire two people, they're the best of the job, and they will come very costly, but ensure you have KPIs so that they deliver what they are supposed to. So that's the second thing. Third thing, get the right distribution. All right, now hello, I'm running a cafe post lockdown, and this is going to face it on for Gautam. Uh, Lockdown is something no one has really predicted, but I think it's also an opportunity for food businesses. I've personally seen food business thrive during the time. I know you have to pivot your business model towards online or delivery, but there is an opportunity in it. Coming to my point here about the distribution partners, again, this is not just meant for a product company, it is also meant for service companies. or cafes, and good timing there, Gautam, for that question, because you have the right set of distribution partners who has experience in what you're doing. Now, one thing that I made as a mistake here, um, is that when I worked with distributors, I did not profile them. I did not look at their experience. I did not look if they handle similar products. Whoever came in with money, I gave them the distribution chip, and that was a mistake, right? Because I did not profile my distributors or partners, because these are essential people who are going to help grow my business, right? Now with a new team and a new brand, even if I don't have experienced distribution players, I am screwed already, and that's sort of what happened. So I had initially money coming in from distributors, like the primary sales, but on ground the products was not reaching the retail points the way I wanted it, and the repeat sales on secondary or tertiary never happened. That's sort of where we also had a bit of a hit. So working with distribution partners are very important. Now if you're in service business, like a restaurant or a cafe, who are your distribution partners, right? Your distribution partners are the folks like Zomato, your Swiggy's, your Just Eat, your Uber Eats, any distribution partners. In Ireland, I think you have Just Eat and Marvin, who's pretty active in the space. Anyone else here from Ireland who knows other distribution partners? And I think in India, it's mostly now Zomato and Swiggy. In terms, anyone else working with these guys? Now, you might feel that they are like a pinch. I mean, they take away a lot of your money, but see, they have customer data and customer database, and when you grow, it's good to latch on to that data and get maximum out of it. So this is one of the things I've learned the hard way is if you're launching a product, ensure you work with the right set of distributors. You need to profile them. Don't call it quantity, go for quality of these distribution. Amazon, yes, of course, Amazon also has started grocery and restaurant, and I'm not sure about the restaurant part. I know they do groceries, but I'm not sure about the restaurant side of the business. Dheeraj, we are a food delivery consultancy. Any input to say? Dheeraj, could you expand on that? Maybe put your website here just to, or tell us what exactly it does when it comes to delivery consultancy. Gautam, I'm not sure if I answered the question, but I hope that helps in some way. All right, so that's the third thing. So first thing, branding. Second thing, hiring the A team. Third thing, having the right set of distribution partners. The fourth point, moving on, is how do you get the product margins right? Right now, we had another webinar last week where I spoke about having food margins to be at least 50%, right? As in your cost of after your cost of goods, you need to have 50% margins with you. Now, this is not always possible, and it's not possible at least in the initial days. So the idea is how do you get there eventually, right? So you need to constantly work with increasing your margins. Now, when I started, I didn't have 50% margins, it was much lesser. But as we progressed, I started negotiating with vendors, getting better rates from for the input cost, for the or packaging material or anything. The same thing goes. So if you buy a lot of things, be it cooking materials or your rent or your supplier who supplies you a certain thing, work with them constantly to get the best price, right? And see, it's a people to people business. You have to show that you're growing and that you give more business, and that's what helps. So work with vendors and your manufacturing partners. Now, I did a contract manufacturing, so that means I didn't launch. I didn't have a factory of my own. I worked with a third party manufacturer. So we used to review our pricing every 6 months to see how we can give more volume and we can get the best price. So the idea is you need to get profit margins close to 50%, and without that, your cash flow or your business is not going to be sustainable on the long run. So it's going to be pretty tricky. So I'm not saying you will achieve this from day one, but keep trying towards it. All right. So did you try Palace Foods for distribution, Jer? Here in Ireland, yes, I spoke to distributors, but not to the likes of Palace Foods, but much lower, because as we start up, we can't approach the biggies like Palace. So yeah, we had few distributors lined up. We also had interest from the retailers like Gala and Iceland. But yeah, my island business never took off well, even if I tried to do it much here. Uh, all right, Gaurav, you just said you've launched your products. Could you expand that? What kind of products did you launch? All right, so constantly working on margins, very, very, very important, right? Moving on, the next point that I have learned hard way is focus on tertiary sales and make it a daily process. Now, I am a sales, I like to believe I am a salesperson, but when I was doing the food business, I think I sort of miserably failed at that because I was looking at money coming in from distributors, which was the primary sales. The money was coming from distributors. I was giving the product, but I don't think I focused enough on the tertiary sales, which is the sales on the ground from the retail touch point. And doing this on a day-to-day basis is a huge task, and it's not easy. But it's definitely where the pulse is of your food businesses, and that's what you need to understand. So, what I meant by that, this is not about increasing advertising, making customers more aware. This is not that. This is more to do with B2B to ensure that your retailers or distribution partners are putting your product in the correct place, ensuring that your in retailer your products are seen. Let's say ensuring that in your Just Eat, your restaurant or your cafe is visible enough. You need to work with your B2B partners to ensure that your sales is happening every day, right? So, like I said, this is not an advertising tactic. It's more of working closely with your vendors, with your sales team to ensure that your product is visible enough and daily sales is happening on ground. That's what it is. And you need to focus on this on a day to day basis. Something I think I sort of miserably failed at in my business. All right. Now, the other important point that I want to discuss here is again of letting going of employees or co-founders who's not delivering any value. Now, when you're in your food business, your team matters a lot, right? And if your employees, and especially if your co-founders are not bringing something on the table, there's no point on having them on board. And it's not just about you being stressed, but even on the long run, it's going to hurt you. We've raised it. When I run this business, I also raised money from investors, and one of the toughest situations I had was that other than me, the other partner who had of the business was a silent partner who wasn't active, and this was a big question that all the other investors raised. I mean, you're just one guy, right? You can't do everything. Where's your partner? Why is he or she doing anything? What is their role in this? So having a team or a founder who's bringing something on the table is very, very important. Now, I tried to get away with it. I tried to bring in experienced hands, but it I was too late to do that. All right. So, Pankti, I hear you. Anyone else having audio issues? Are you from your mobile? The audio seems to be working fine for everyone else. Not sure. Pankti, can you just check if you are on mobile or desktop? It looks fine from my end. Anyone else having audio issues? So, if your team, including your co-founder, is not bringing anything on the table, please let them go. I know they will have equity or stake in the company. Either buy it off, or you have to tell them that either they have to let it go to bring someone in, or they have to dilute it in some way. Because otherwise, you're going to run into a dead end for sure. I've seen it, I've experienced it, and I'm talking purely on that basis. All right, moving on. Integrating digital solutions. Now, I think everything is going digital. The timing is good. Online business, customers buying online. But beyond that, also internally, your sales team, everything, your staffing. If you're a restaurant, you how you staff, how you put rosters. Can you make it digital, right? So use ERPs or use CRM software to manage your HR process much more efficiently. Now, I was sort of successful at this in terms of implementing an ERP internally. But I think the key here is to get people to use it. So because sales team doesn't want to use anything that keeps a track on them, and same goes for workers in your restaurant or your cafe. They don't want to have a digitized version of it because it keeps track on things in a very efficient way. But your job is to ensure everyone uses it and keep it as a mandatory policy. Otherwise, a lot of things will fly by you and you will not see it. And having a digital solution will ensure that you can capture what's really happening. Moving on, only trust the numbers and follow with daily sales team. All right, so what it means is that I used to ask my team, how was everything? And people would say, my team would come back to me and say that, oh, yeah, everything is good, looking fine, sales are happening. But one mistake I did in that is that I did not ask for daily numbers. I did not ask what's the sale today, how much packets were sold today in this shop, or what are the distribution numbers yesterday, what is the distribution number today. These numbers really, really matter. And I sort of relied a lot on them feeding me these numbers. And I feel that sometimes, uh, salespeople, they're just doing their job. They just feed me numbers. They might be true, they might not be true. So your job is to hunt down those numbers yourself and solely rely on that. Harshad, to explain, can you tell me what kind of business you were in? Did you already tell that? CRM or ERP? CRM is basically customer relationship management software. ERP is enterprise resource management. Both of these things are essential for food businesses. So if you are running a restaurant, an ERP would mean how you manage your people who are working, their rosters, their attendance, uh, all of that kind of things. CRM would be what is the kind of software you're managing to manage your customers. So you're in the catering business and getting cloud kitchen. So CRM means the people who buy from you, how are you maintaining their data? It should go beyond an Excel sheet. You should use CRM software. There's a lot of CRM softwares out there in the market, specifically made for food businesses as well, or specifically made for e-commerce. So you'll need to do some reading on that. It's very hard for me to explain otherwise. But in simple terms, it's something that will help you with your sales and marketing and managing your customers. That's essentially what CRM software is. All right, moving on. Only trust the numbers. So yeah, we already spoke about this. The next point that I want to discuss here about is that B2B marketing as important as B2C in the initial days. Now, I was coming from an advertising business, and I was like, oh, okay, I will get in the food business, and I'll get to put all my skills in the B2C advertising part. But the first 2 years, or for the first 2 years, the initial period, at least the first 12 to 18 months when I launched my business, my job was strictly B2B marketing, which is talking to distributors, talking to retail players, talking to investors. So all these lie in the B2B space of things. So initially, your success relies on how good your B2B business or B2B marketing works. And initially, I thought that as far as B2B is concerned, maybe the margins alone will work. I mean, yeah, you're giving margins to your retailers or distributors, that alone works. Not really. It goes beyond that. You have to work your ass really around it in terms of creating promo schemes, creating gifts, or creating target based discounts. Like, you have to be as proactive in these things. In fact, B2B likes promos or schemes. That's the key word there. They want some sort of a scheme. You tell them you're going to give you, let's say, 20 percentage as margins, they're not interested. But if you tell the same thing, that 10% margins and 10% scheme, they still, that'll excite them. So the idea is promos and schemes at a B2B level, very, very important. If you're running the restaurant and service business, same thing. You go back to the likes of Just Eat or Uber Eats and tell them, we're going to run special promotions. We're going to give you more discounts or more what do you call it, revenue share if you bring in sales during this time, that kind of stuff. So the idea is, how do you involve with your B2B partners and give them, keep them excited matters a lot. All right, moving on. Getting the right placement or positioning. Now, this is very important, be it for service businesses or product businesses. Of your product or your cafe or a restaurant, your products or what you make there might be something that everyone wants or that's that everyone could buy. But at the end of the day, you need to pick your targets. You need to understand who you want to sell this to. Just getting there, I just want to put another one poll that I want to publish as well. Uh, I know that from the polls that we've published that a lot of you are in your idea stage. A lot, that's 40% of people, 33 already started, 15% of 3 years old started. All right. So just a quick question: if any of you who want here any help with your food business, I'm putting another poll as well. So I'll be coming to this towards the end, but I just thought I'll just publish this poll anyway. I am currently working with food businesses as a consultant, putting all this knowledge to the leverage. We'll come to that, but I just want all of you to also participate in the poll I've just published as well. Sudhakan has asked, is it good to start a superfood business and creating a health-based product? Can you focus on food which is not available in India? Sudhakan, which city in India are you based on and where you want to launch this? I think superfood business is a growing segment. It's a niche segment. So you'll have to be patient. You'll have to have enough resources to for this to work for you. But yes, there is scope. All right, so getting the right placement, right? So, uh, talking from my own experience, let me put it this way. I had a product which I was, when I initially launched this product, my product was priced at 50 rupees. And in Ireland, it was priced at €2. It was a big tax. So, what it means is that this is not a product which will go in smaller bakeries or grocery shops. It will have to work with bigger stores or supermarkets, right? So this was a task because in India, to get listed in a supermarket, you have to pay the supermarkets upfront money, listing fees. In Ireland, of course, they don't have listing fees, which is a good thing. You just need to do a good job in getting the right contacts. But in India, you have listing fee. Then in both the countries, one thing common is that you have to give them credit, which means you will only get your payments of money in 30 days time, right? So we initially launched in this segment and we couldn't sustain because we didn't have enough money to give 30 days or 60 days credit. Plus, we didn't have enough money to pay upfront fees as well, right? So we then pivoted the business and launched smaller packs. So we launched €1 and 50 cents pricing, or in India, 10 rupee and 5 rupee pricing. And then we got into cash and carry or the smaller grocery stores. Now, again, my business was an alternative to potato snacks. We were doing banana and cassava chips. So what it means is that if I want to sell a 5 rupee banana or a cassava snack, I cannot sell it to everyone and anyone who would eat potato snacks because not everyone will accept banana or cassava. But me and my sales team did not understand this initially, and we went around putting this everywhere. And I would say what happened again, new team, new branch, new distributors. None of them knew the game. And we went around placing the product everywhere and anywhere without segmenting and without picking our right customer. And that sort of backfired. So what it means is that you have to know what are your initial set of customers, who are you going to target initially, get them on board, get them to like the product, and then expand further. Other than just placing a product everywhere. Same goes for your service or a cafe. If you are talking to a specific audience, I mean, if you are a cafe, don't talk to everyone. Talk to a very specific audience. Get them won over. Get them to advocate your brand and expand. Don't say that my business, my restaurant, my cafe, or my product is meant for everyone. You have to find that niche segment and target specifically on that. Why? Because a you will only have limited resources as well to start that. So you might as well do a good job rather than spreading it too thin. Manav, to answer your question, yes, I did invest my own money. Plus, I also raised funds from third parties. So, yes, there was investors as well. All right, moving on. Getting the art of getting cash flow positive quickly and maintaining it. Now, this was a tricky situation for me. We sort of managed it well, I think, because most of our business was cash and carry, as in we got money up front before we even put the product out there. So, it was good that way. Uh, that sort of helped me initially, but on the long run, we have we hit with floods. Uh, the Kerala floods pretty bad. At that time, the cash flow wasn't enough to help us, sustain it. We didn't have enough backup money. So the idea is when you start your business, keep a cash flow running and keep a backup fund running so that when things go wrong, you have like a rainy day fund that'll come and rescue. That's something that didn't work out for me. To having managing cash flow properly. All right, moving on. So yeah, so I think that's the 10 points. We've discussed all of that. So just to summarize, essentially the key part is tracking sales and distribution, and obviously having a very good team. That's essentially the most important part of any food businesses. Now, just to also, if you have more questions like folks, if I can't take all that questions here, please follow me on Instagram as well. I'm pretty active there, so if you have any questions very specifically, I can take those questions there, and we can chat there as well in the future. So just to sum up, this is few snapshots of my food business. the factory, couple of ads we ran. That's part of my sales team. So we had a very good run, 2 years plus, um, around 20,000 outlets. We raised funds uh, twice. We had good, very supportive investors, but towards the end, we were not able to maintain the growth. Uh, the other thing that I also want to mention at this point is also that if, like I said, currently work with food business owners and help them. So if you're looking for something around that, in terms of working with me, again, I've published a link where you can view a couple of the recent case studies I've worked with food businesses. Now I'm based in Ireland, but all my team are remote. So I work with food businesses across UK, Ireland, and India. So you can view those case studies and a couple of details there. That link that I've just published. Um, yes, and also, what is the scope for a cupcake business in Mumbai? Kabir, I'm not very specific about scope for cupcake business specifically. I mean, that's not my domain. Uh, I can help you with your say, with your branding and communication side of it, but you'll have to explore the scope for cupcake business. I think any food business works, and I think especially in the lockdown, people are locked up and they want to eat more. They want to try new things. So yeah, cupcake business definitely sounds exciting on the first go. Mano, how to get a perfect team? The simpler answer to that, Manav, is to get or hire people who are smarter than you. So that's the easiest way to answer that question. Sudhagran, I'm not sure if I answered your question on superfood. Are you still here? So yeah, this was my business that I was running, and I'm also running a food business academy. Right now, it's an online side of it. So um, I'm just gonna publish that as well. So there is a 50% off on that right now if you use the code FBA50. So I'm doing a food business academy, which is like an online course. You could join in. There are a couple of things that I'm going to be sharing there, which I have learned the hard way uh, around running a food business, branding, packaging, a lot of things around that. Much more detailed version of what we discussed here. To sum up my own discussion around failure of my food business, like I said, we had a good run. We raised fund 2 years. We learned a lot. We were in 5 cities. I think we've come across a lot of exciting time. But at the end of the day, I think we failed because I think as someone who led that food business, I failed. So I'm not saying someone else or something else is responsible for the food business, but I would say that this part of that journey is over. So I might relaunch it. We're still looking and exploring for partners to relaunch the business. So this is not the end for my food business journey. So the playing foods might come back again, but currently I have mouths to feed, bills to pay. So I'm doing your digital marketing or your offline marketing as well. So you can leverage my experience for your food business. uh, I've worked with few clients, so this is one of the case studies here that I've recently worked with, where I actually transformed a meal prep company into a lifestyle brand. So this is one of the recent businesses I've worked with. Folks, if you have any question, this is the time to put that here. Also, I just have one more poll that I've published in just to uh, rate today's content in terms of did you enjoy it or not. All right. So yeah, Manav, after this webinar, I'm going to send you a link where you can download this presentation. I'm also going to send you the replay link for this. Folks, if I've not answered any of your question, don't worry. I'll try to reply as an email as well. Shraddha, your product is good concept. You'll sell at the organic outlets and healthy food stores. Best luck. Shraddha, yes, thank you. I wound up that business, so it's not live anymore. I'm hoping to restart it. I'm just looking for the right partners, but for the time being, that's not what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm working with food business owners to help them in terms of branding and communication side of things. What percentage of India is supposed to be for hiring employee costs? Gaurav, there's again no short answer for that because food business employees, especially the sales staff, they're very expensive from what I understand. Um, in fact, from my own experience, they took out nearly 20 percentage of my turnover when I was running the food business, which was actually a lot higher. So the ideal scenario is that the hiring cost shouldn't be more than 5%, is what I know. But again, there's no specific number to it. I'm not an MBA to put a apt number there. From my experience, I would say 5% would be a good number though. Uh, all right, folks, just participate in this poll as well. It's just about the content that we discussed today. And in terms of the offer, like I said, I'm running this Food Business Academy. You can get an off on 50% if you use the code FBA50. This offer is valid for the next 10 hours. So if you want to go and so hope you've checked the website there. Plus, if you want help in terms of your food business consulting, your branding, packaging, or website or anything, ping me here as well, or we can connect online or later on Instagram. Um, I can help you with that as well. So, any questions that we can quickly take here? I'm going to wind this up in the next 5 minutes otherwise. All right, good. Thanks for sharing. Many thanks, sir. Thanks for being here, taking your time here. Thanks. I hope it was helpful. You. Giving budget tracking of people price Bitcoin offers. Side, what is the question? Giving budgeted package goods or keep a price a bit higher offers? Yeah, ideally keep price a bit high so that you have enough wiggle room to give discounts or offers because people like offers. So put your price enough higher so that you have space to do that. Tariq, thanks for joining me. I hope that was helpful in some way. Uh, what is your plan? Are you planning to eventually set up your own pastry shop or something else in the food business? I wish you all the best, whatever it is. Either way, ping me if I can be of any help there. Uh, any further questions, guys? Otherwise, we're good here. I think I've answered almost all the questions. I think Tara, if you're here, I would like to know how to reach with distributors for packaged food products. Tara, are you still here? Uh, if I am answering that question. Hi, Sudhakar. I happy to know you're still here. Thanks for joining me here. Which part of India are you in, and what stage are you on your superfoods business? Let me know if I can be of any help there. Uh, Pallav, did you just ask, can we start with two people and slowly expand? What kind of business is this, Pallav? Tara, as far as your question in terms of connecting with distributors, there's a lot of ways. The online ways, there's a lot of B2B websites out there. Like, for example, if you just in India, I'm sure there's likes of India Mart, or even if you just search finding distributors, you'll find 3 or 4 different yellow pages kind of websites where you can list your products and you'll get inquiries. That's a good way to start. So there's a lot of websites like that where you get data. Second, obviously your sales team, your local sales team, they will know people. That's the best thing. The other thing is go walk into retail shops or other shops and ask them who are the distributors who supply that particular product. That's another way to do around it. Tara, you're based in Bangalore. Can I ask you what kind of food products are you selling, or is your company selling? Dinesh, thank you, I'm a chef, but still enjoy God from you. All right, Dinesh, good to know you're a chef. What are you eventually planning to do? Are you planning to set up something of your own? I hope what we discussed today was somewhat helpful. Uh, Millet staples for all right, great, awesome. All right, so Tara, I think the easiest way is what I also used to do initially is I used to walk into a grocery store and I would look at my competition and then I would ask the retailer there who is distributing this product to them, get their numbers, get their details, and talk to them. That's the hard way to do it. The easiest way is to go online and find third party yellow pages. And the next most easiest way is to basically hire someone who knows the sales team in that segment. That's the easiest thing for me. That's what eventually worked because doing it yourself, unless you don't you have experience or contact, is going to be very hard business because uh, finding distributors then winning their trust is not an easy game. So getting people who know them be much easier. Rahul, we are in initial stage, not very big, just local one. What kind of business are you in, Rahul? Learning is really important for us. You're saying you're in an initial stage. Can you tell me what business are you in? Any folks from Ireland still here? Jer, I know I think you've logged off. Ian, are you still here? You were speaking about your local enterprise experience. I hope today's session was somewhat useful for you. Uh, any other questions? So Sudaran, thanks. Thanks. No, you're still here. I hope it was useful for you. I have a couple of experience working in the superfoods and niche segment. So let me know if you want any help in terms of packaging or branding there. Uh, any other questions, folks? Yes, Leo's local entrepreneurs are very, very, very helpful. First call, of course. Any other questions, or we can wrap it up, guys? So many thanks for joining me today. Like I said, I'm gonna send you the replay link for this. I'm also gonna send you the link. We call that for for the deck as well. You can download it. If no other questions, we are good to wind up here. Many thanks for joining me again. Have a good evening. I have another one more webinar coming up tomorrow, but it's nothing to do with food business. It's more to do with digital marketing. So if you are interested in that segment, you can join in. I can keep stay in touch with my website to know more on most of the webinars. All right, so I guess that's it. For all of you joining here. Okay, Tara, one quick question. Yeah, we have time for that. Shoot, what's the question we have? And folks who are looking at working with me, the link that I've just published, it basically gives like a link to my case studies and clients that I've worked with recently. So just have a look and we can chat. Is it advisable to my own distribution start or approach a distributor? Start, I would say, see, if you're a manufacturer or if you're a food business owner, don't get into distribution. It's a different ballgame. Uh, why? Because see, retailers, it's how do I put it? A, on a business sense, it doesn't make any sense because you won't be able to expand, you won't be able to focus if you're having too much of things going around. Second, working with a distributor, giving them margins is will ensure that you will get money up front and that the distribution to retail parts is happening on its own. You don't have to focus on that and you can move on and look at other things. That way you will be able to expand much further. So my advice is don't do distribution on your own because you'll have to give credit to retailers. You'll have to go collect their cash. You have to go put their products. It's a very tricky space for you to get in. So my advice is a strict no, is to work with third-party distributors. That's the best way to go around it. From my own experience, I could say that because when I tried to do distribution my own, like I did supply to few big supermarket chains on my own, and it was a huge headache, billing, collecting money, uh, because we have to arrange vehicle just for that, right? As far as the distribution is concerned, the existing distributors concerned, they already have supply routes for that, so it's much easier for them to do that. So do not get into that. Do not engage into that. It's a very tricky space. So I hope that that helps. Uh, I if you don't mind, can you leave me your website? I'd like to have a quick look at your product as well. How is your millet business? And all right, thanks, Tara. So, yeah, anyway, let's stay connected. Like I said, follow me on Instagram. And if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to help. If you need any other help or advice, we can always speak online as well. So, many thanks, guys, for joining here. Have a good evening, have a good day, and have a good week ahead. See you. Bye. Oh, yeah, Tara, you're in the stage of your process, creating a process. That's nice. I All right, all right. Are you selling online as well, or are you planning to sell online? Ensure that your website is built on an existing platform. Don't do any customized stuff. That'll be handy. So, like I said, we can always speak, continue this conversation later. So, if you can follow me on Instagram, we can keep this conversation going as well. So, I'm just gonna put my link there. Hi, Ellen. All right. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Alan. Hope it was helpful for you. Like I said, if you need the presentation deck, I'm going to send that to you so that you can download it. You'll be getting a link to download it, and it will be sent to your FB Messenger. So many thanks again for joining me, folks. Have a good week ahead. Bye. Thanks, Taras. You're